Where do you even start with this one?
Oh shit, here we go again.
I'm going to start by emulating Blair White and protecting my own back by saying that everything in this video that we discuss is alleged. These are just accusations. Where to even start with this shit show? I suppose we could give a small recap, go right back to the beginning of this sordid tale and cut a long story semi-short. I'm going to need my script for this next bit, but let's try and do it all in one take. Onision first created this channel over 10 years ago with his first wife Sky. He and Sky met in high school, and it was said that Gerg had a weird obsession with his wife's younger sister because he's a creep like that. Onision hit the big time with his awful "I'm a banana" video and then starts talking to Shiloh, who was 16 at the time. She's a musician. Onision cheats on his first wife and has to drive to a state where it's legal to fuck 16-year-olds so he can sleep with Shiloh. Grim. Shiloh and Onision have a tumultuous on-off relationship during the peak of his career. They break up, Shiloh later citing abuse issues. Onision gets with a woman, 24, the oldest he's ever dated, I'm sure, at the time. They stay together for a whopping 3 weeks because he realises that he can't control her because she's actually an adult, and he promptly goes fucking insane.
Just so you know, because of what you've done, because of the way you've slandered me, because of the lies you've told, because of the fact that you've completely ignored me and you've completely humiliated me publicly, and despite the fact that I was being kind about everything and saying, okay, fine, I'm not going to attack someone I love, and I'm not going to fight back even though she's clearly attacking me, and I was hoping that you would actually answer your phone and deal with me like a human being. Because of all of this, I'm going to reveal every single detail. Every detail. And then everyone will know exactly who you are. You want to slander me, well, I'm going to fight you with the truth. And the truth is not going to feel good.
Briefly gets back with Shiloh, I think, before finding the artist formerly known as Lanybot, 17, original name Taylor, because Greg's decided it wasn't good enough because Greg needs to fucking control everything about his partners. Lanybot, now Kai, was in high school when they first started talking. After a whirlwind romance, they get married and pregnant within all of 2 seconds. Kai was born a girl and identified as a girl, but has come out recently as a trans man for some context. Onision, bored of their marriage, decided that Kai was bisexual and needed to explore this by bringing in a girl, Billy, 18, into their marriage to be Kai's girlfriend. Around about this time, a girl, Sarah, 16, moves in with the Onions at the McMansion after speaking to Kai since she was 14, and Kai was 20 or something, because that's not fucking weird and creepy at all. A polyamorous clusterfuck ensues, as Greg falls in lust with Billy and wants to fuck her all by himself because of course that's what he wanted. Kai, you fucking moron. Gerg cheats, Kai leaves, Kai cries because all Kai does is cry. Gerg is ready to sign over the rights of his child, the single child that they had at the time, to Kai just so he can fuck an 18-year-old, and then Kai, in the biggest own girl of the century, decides to go back to Gerg to give him another chance. Look where that's ended you up, you idiot. At some point, Billy is back in the picture, but then leaves again, and Gerg begins a harassment campaign against Billy and her friend Ayala because he's literally a fucking incel. Also, around this stage, Kai falls pregnant again because birth control isn't a thing or something. Grog starts earning less money from YouTube and rapidly loses subscribers as all the 14-year-olds who subbed to him in the first place begin realising he's a complete fucking loser and begin unsubscribing, and Grog bitches that YouTube is to blame for his channels being universally cringy. Onision, as it turns out, has also been cheating his taxes for the past few years, so the IRS comes a knocking, wanting some moolah. I forgot the exact amount, but I believe it's in the hundreds of thousands. Don't worry though, Grog still has his Tesla. Around about this time, the Onions do my favourite part of this sordid tale and move into a literal swamp because looking like an ogre just wasn't enough for old Shreggy. Whilst living at the swamp and unsuccessfully luring girls home to be Kai's girlfriend but actually be Grog's fuck puppets, honestly, it's like a Brothers Grimm's tale, Onision does the funniest thing he's ever done in his entire career and damages restricted protected swamp wetlands because he, and I quote, wanted to chop down some weeds. Because there is literal dirt from the swamp with more brain matter than Greg uploads videos to his Patreon-only group of him clearly chopping down trees and damaging land in the restricted area. How can someone this stupid still be alive? How has he not accidentally chopped himself in half with a chainsaw? So not only does the IRS want some fat pay, but Washington State would also like some money from YouTube's best environmentalist. Anyway, remember Sarah, the kid inexplicably living with the Onions under their guidance, who Onision would refer to as his little sister plenty of times in numerous videos? Well, she's 18 now and has recently come out of allegations that the Onions took her virginity a few days after she turned 18 and have been grooming her since she was 16. And we're not even on to my fucking video yet. That's just the recap. So, where do you even begin? Right, I guess, right. Kai began talking to Sarah when Kai was Lainey before, but when Kai was 20 and Sarah was 14. Already, that is so many levels of fucking weird. A 20-year-old really doesn't have that much in common with a 14-year-old. 14-year-olds are literal children. Being older than 24, looking back, your brain fully develops when you get to the age of 25. And there are some massive leaps in maturity all along the way. It's like an 18-year-old doesn't have much in common with a 26-year-old in the slightest. I think even that dynamic is fucking weird. Now you have to remember throughout all of this that when Kai was Lainey and first began talking to Greg when they were 17, though some people reckon it was earlier than that. Some people do think that, Kai was 16 when they first started talking to Greg, because Greg just loves them young. You have to remember that though Kai was groomed by Onision and became like a child bride, they have now become, allegedly, trying not to get in trouble here, they've now become a groomer themselves, trying to lure in girls for, Onision's fucking... What did they used to call it? Like their love triangle, but they used to bloody call it something. I can't remember. They used to call it something fucking stupid. So Kai is now 24, and they must know what they are doing is wrong. So they don't get a fucking free pass. Yes, they were groomed by the Onion himself, but now they are perpetuating the cycle of abuse instead of stopping it. When Greg first cheated on Kai with Billy and then was willing to sign over the rights of his single child, to Kai so he could leave with Billy and fuck Billy, an 18-year-old, when Greg was like, 30, I think, 29, 30. Kai could have got out then. If they hadn't been the world's biggest fucking doormat and gone back to Greg, they could have got out then and would have still looked like a victim. Now look, you're fucked, Kai. Anyway, begins talking to Sarah at 14. Apparently they began talking romantically when Sarah was 15, whatever the hell that means.
I have literally never talked to anybody romantically at all that was not over the age of 18.
Kai and I romantically talked when I was 15 years old. And he talked about
everybody
kissing me
feeling
once I
bad
turned
for
16
Kai.
and came and visited. Because he was like, it's not illegal for me to just kiss you, right?
And then when Sarah was 16, for some reason, negative home life, I guess, because what kind of parent would let their child go live with the Onisions? Sarah went and lived with the Onisions at the McMansion when she was 16 and saw all the crazy shit that happened with Billy go on, and lived with them up until the age of 18 and lost their virginity to Greg a few days after turning 18. I believe Kai and Greg were given the power of attorney or some sort of guardianship, kind of, over Sarah. So, yes, it's legal, but morally it's fucked up. Greg, you've referred to this kid as your little sister in many videos. You've done videos explicitly stating it's not weird that she's living with us. There's nothing going on. There's nothing weird going on.
And she's 16, I'm 31, this is creepy. No anything there, nothing. Just the idea that people think there is something, or even that Sarah may have thought that there would be something, that's just not okay, because there would not ever be something.
When I was 16, I went there for the first time ever in September of 2016.
Remember that?
Greg took me down into the basement because I was upset, and we talked, and he was like, it's not a triangle. You're very important to Kai, like it's a square. It's not a triangle, it's a square.
They're all focusing on a person that we were temporarily like foster parents to, Sarah.
I don't disagree. Sarah is a minor, yes. Which is why I'm like her legal guardian.
And that was something that was perverted, like turned into something perverted by the internet. We never did anything weird with Sarah. We were just, I look at her as a little sister.
In February of 2016, it was like right after the whole like Billy thing, like the first Billy thing. Kai got upset one night about Billy, and Greg reassured him that nothing... Greg reassured him that it would be okay because they could just date me when I was 18. Why don't we just wait for Sarah? Why don't we just wait for Sarah?
Sarah herself had to do videos saying there's nothing strange going on, and apparently it was because Onision was literally forcing her to, read off a script and make these videos. So it's incredibly fucked up morally. Like, legality does not equal morality. It's very ethically wrong to kind of almost raise this child and then fuck them as soon as they turn into an adult. Greg, you are so dumb. How did you think he's gotten away with so much so far? I guess he kind of thought he was invincible, but you don't have a fan base to fall back on anymore. Your videos barely scraped 10,000 views. Did you really think people were going to be on your side about this? So anyway, something happened in this strange love triangle. Kai probably got jealous because Kai tries to be hip and polyamorous, but they're a very jealous person and can't deal with their husband wanting to fuck other people. Probably, that's what happened with Billy, that's probably what happened with, a bunch of the other girls. But where Greg fucked up is Greg accused Sarah, this 18-year-old whose virginity he took, he accused Sarah of raping him because Greg is a perpetual victim. So now he's a rape victim, apparently. Remember that video I did where it's like, well, Onision's gay this week? Well, apparently he's a rape victim now. For someone who loves dictionary definitions, you don't seem to know what words mean. Because consensual sex, and Sarah released a screenshot, does not equal you being a victim. Sarah released a screenshot of a text, seemingly to both her and Kai, from Greg, saying, I just want to point out something. This is stupid. I loved making love to both of you. I loved seeing you satisfy Kai. I loved making out with you while fucking Kai. I loved being around you when you guys weren't fighting. Personally, I'd love to do countless things with both of you. You creep. So, having to move out of the McMansion and being accused of being a rapist, naturally, pissed Sarah off. I mean, at 18, you have to commend her. She's working 2 jobs, pay for her own apartment, so already she's shown more responsibility at 18 years old than Onision and Kai have ever done in their entire fucking lives, seeing as they just live off their Patreon pay pigs. Sarah went on a Twitter rampage. Fuck you, I was the wrong one. Say whatever you want about me, Onision, bring it. I'm hurt. I don't have to rely on my messed up memory because, Greg was insinuating, well, you're mentally ill, so you're messed up. It's funny how every girl that Onision has fucked and then hates is crazy and has a mental problem. There's a correlating factor here, Greg, and that's you. Remember you once said in a video, if everybody smells of shit, maybe check under your own shoe? Pot kettle black, you fucking Neanderthal. I have so much respect for Sarah. Sarah put up this screenshot. I want you to know this from Greg. I've never seen Kai hurt this much. Oh, boo-hoo, Kai's crying. All Kai does is cry. The universe could end, and the only eternal truth is that Kai is somewhere crying. The damage you did, I can't believe you would hurt Kai and the kids like this. Isn't it funny how Onision always says that it's exploitative for YouTubers to use their kids in videos, yet every time he gets called out on something, he's so willing to throw his kids out there. Think of the children, think of the children. He did it to Shane Dawson, probably did it to Blair in his begging email, probably. Like, the kids, Onision has 2. And I think they would be better not living with him. They should be living with Kai's parents. I think those kids should be taken away from him. From what we've seen we only see stuff like on the internet of how abusive he is. Imagine what actually goes on behind the camera. The kids are literal meat shields for Gregory. I can't believe you would hurt Kai and the kids like this. What you did hurt everyone in the house. I can't believe you're only doing this because I refused to make out with you in the theatre and refused to sleep to you. You're hurting Kai and the kids because you said you cared about because we rejected you. English, Greg. How could you do this? Except that we did not want to be with you and move on. Stop hurting innocent people. Boo-hoo. Now what's messed up is, Sarah lived with them for about 2 years from the age of 16 to the age of 18. Sarah was basically their live-in nanny. The children would have been toddlers and still are around the toddler age, I believe. So these kids probably saw Sarah as like an older sister because, she kind of had to be a nanny for the Onisions because fuck knows they don't look after their kids, probably. She's 18, she probably loved these children like they were her, siblings. So the fact that he's so willing to use that against her just to try and hurt her, Greg really is just scum. So Sarah tweeted a few things like, I did cocaine, use it against me. Most adults have. No one with 2 brain cells to rub together would use that against you. You're a teenager. Teenagers do experiment with drugs and sexuality. Greg and I fucked whilst Kai was in New Mexico. Use it against me. This is insinuating that Kai didn't know about this. I have No respect and no sympathy for Kai anymore. I would have had sympathy if you'd got out when Greg cheated on you the first time, but you refused to. God knows why. And also, Kai has absolved Greg of all responsibility every single time he's fucked up. The Billy situation, for example, that was Billy's fault. It was all Billy's fault, not innocent Greg, a 30-year-old man wanting to shag an 18-year-old. No, not at all. Kai, you wet wipe. Greg and Kai let me have alcohol. That's what surprises me the most, because Greg is known as just being like so straight edge man and, you know, not drinking alcohol, though apparently this isn't true. Having to go at people who even have caffeine. He's such a hypocrite. This is kind of one of the things that surprises me the most about the situation. Not that he's a hypocrite, we know that, but that he let a minor have alcohol. That's not legal, Greg. Remember how you had to go at Billy for smoking some weed, even though it was legal in her state to do so? Or was it illegal? Doesn't matter either way, it's just weed. Kai sent me a selfie with his genitalia out while I was underage. Please try me. Poor Sarah getting a picture of those beef curtains. Usually on this channel, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but I kind of have like this personal ethical rule to not take low blows or low shots at people's appearances, because it is a low blow. But in this case, with the caveman and the space boy Prince Wonder Kai, how many times has Greg been horrible about, you know, kids' appearances? Fuck 'em. Kai told me exactly how big Greg's dick is when I was 14. I mean, if Kai had been 14 as well, and they were discussing things like genitalia. Teenagers do discuss sexual things because, you know, you're coming into that age where you got hormones and it's like this whole new world, sex and stuff, yeah? But the fact that, you know, Kai would have been 20 and they're gossiping like teenagers, I think Kai is mentally stunted at the age they met Onision. So they met Onision when they were 17. They're probably still mentally that age because Onision doesn't allow any growth at all because he's still mentally 14. Not to say it's right, it's definitely inappropriate, 100% inappropriate. I'm just saying that they're all idiots. Sarah put up a screenshot of a text conversation between Greg and Kai. Blue is Kai, grey is Greg. Thought we agreed that using virginity as a pawn was wrong, but now that it suits you want to resort to that. It is a big deal, and she lost it to you, not me. Virginity does matter. So does 7 years of a relationship, but we're forgetting about that, and no, you did threaten our relationship. So I just ignore you, taking a girl's virginity, then treating her like she is dead to you because she got jealous, then doubling down on treating her like she is dead so she can shut herself off so she can't be hurt. Nice run-on sentences, Greg. Remember, this is the child that they were meant to be looking after, and instead they're talking about her as if she was just literally a sex object. They are dehumanizing this kid who they were meant to be looking after. The hickey Greg gave me on the January 17th, 2019. Kai smoked weed. This one is for Billy. That's one of my favourite tweets. The hypocrisy. Like, no bounds with these people. Do you know what? I have this theory, and I've always had this theory, that Greg is not a vegetarian. That he just pretends to be one so he can have this moral superiority complex over other people. How many times has he been like, you're a fucking scumbag if you eat meat, and then there's the whole like meat is murder videos that he's done. I don't think he's a vegetarian. I don't believe it. I reckon he's secretly eating McDonald's. Then there was this bloody essay that Greg sent Sarah. You blackmailed us, which is illegal in the way you did. You and Billy both publicly and privately admitted you, Sarah, were never groomed. We have the receipts. You raped Kai, not only with the crime of sexual extortion, but also raped Kai when he flirted with you as an adult from afar, but he said he was uncomfortable repeatedly with you in person. You knew he was uncomfortable. You did what you did anyway. You forced him. Just as a side note, I do not believe anything that comes out of Greg's mouth because he lies and manipulates the truth constantly. You said you hated Ayala for saying she wanted to have sex with you when you were a minor. Doubt this ever happened. We all hated her, but clearly you were dishonest, all because you would do anything to sleep with Kai again, even without his consent. You joined the people who talk about us obsessively after lying and saying you hated them, would never become like them. We haven't gone public about your blackmail, sexual extortion and rape because we don't want to violate the NDA. Also incredibly weird that Greg makes people sign non-disclosure agreements when they come into his and Kai's life. If that doesn't scream guilty about something, I don't know what does. We also don't want to hurt your ability to succeed in life, but you have gone public because you are a liar and you did not care about any of us. You violated the legal agreement. You blackmailed us to sign. You are a liar, illegally so. I'm asking you to move on with your life after all the crimes you've committed. Yeah, alright, well, what's supplying alcohol to a minor then, Greg, you wombat? This is a simple request. You said you cared about our kids. Oh, yeah, throw up the kids when it best suits you. If Greg spent more time actually looking after his kids than he did using them as meat shields, they might not come out of this situation traumatised. Living with Kai and Greg, those kids are not going to be mentally stable growing up. Like, having to see all this bullshit going on completely. Those kids are not safe with these two idiots. Even said you were like a mum to them, so what are you doing? What are you getting out of this? You know it's hurting them. When we have no kids, you actively... When we have no kids, you actively hurt ours. What are you talking about? After you admitted to raping Kai via sexual extortion, after also raping Kai when he clearly was not into you and pushed you away, you stormed off because I refused to have sex with you. I refused to even kiss you. And now you're going on a public campaign with no one, knowing you are a rapist, and we suffer silently as you get praised for being a criminal liar, a rapist, and a blackmailer. I know you're getting paid to lie on you now. I know you like the attention, but this is wrong. You, without any doubt, did these things. We'll still respect the NDA because, unlike you, we are honest. The most honest YouTuber with facts and logic. We respect the legal agreement you publicly admitted to breaking. Admitted you were a liar in the worst way. If Greg has any dirt on anyone ever, he uses it against them. How many times did he try and call Shane Dawson a paedophile over a fucking joke? If they had anything on Sarah, it would have come out by now. You may want to pass on the fact you admitted doing cocaine in your home state to your audience, your diagnosis, which directly affects your ability to function like a normal being. Like your personality disorder. This is sick, Sarah.
I was recently informed that I have borderline personality disorder where I take things to extremes. And if you're not my way, then you're wrong, or something like that. Like, there's a bunch of shit.
Wow, using someone's mental illness which they don't have control over against them. Saying that they're unreliable and kind of like less of a human because they have it. How do you explain your single digits IQ then? You're an unreliable person, Onision, because the term IQ has more letters than the digits of your actual IQ. Please leave us alone. We kicked you out of our life. We offered to help you, as you admitted not grooming you ever at any point. I mean, she lived with you at 16 when she was a child. Of course she's not going to be like, oh yeah, they're grooming me while she lives with you and she loved you too and had respect for you too. Of course a child is not going to say that at the time and is now looking back with an adult lens. She's admitted since that she's going to have to get therapy to deal with like all of this that's happened. You would have to look back with an adult lens and be like, oh no, actually that was fucked up what I went through. She's not going to know anything fucking better at the time. Sarah's tweeted stuff like, so since every time I was with Kai, Greg was also involved, does that mean Greg is an accomplice to the multiple rapes of his own husband? Shit fam, this is messed up. One time when I was 16, Greg made me feel so bad about being a virgin that I started crying. You're so mature for your age, I feel like I'm hanging around a 20-year-old. Greg at 16-year-old me the first time we met. Teenagers watching this, even though I don't like teenagers watching my channel, regardless. Any adult, any grown person that says to you, you're so mature for your age, run. Run like the wind, because that is just them justifying to themselves why it will be okay to fuck you. At Onision, do you remember a couple of years ago when you wanted me to bake you weed brownies? He's such a hypocrite. I love this so much. How much shit did they give Billy for smoking weed? This didn't age well. Lanybot. A message from Sarah to Lanybot. Says Lanybot at the time, I'm not misgendering anyone, don't fucking at me. After you done drowning in that pussy. Apparently the only reason Sarah couldn't make the weed brownies was because Kai didn't want Onision to eat the weed brownies, even though Kai smoked weed themselves. Bunch of idiots. Imagine using the excuse Kai is crying. Like, according to Sarah, and according to a few people, actually, Greg always bullies Kai. Like, calls Kai a cunt. Says that Kai isn't a real boy because Kai cries all the time. So why should we respect Kai? Why should we care about Kai's feelings when Kai's own husband doesn't care about Kai's feelings? At one point, Kai was a victim, but now Kai is just as sick as Greg. Greg has made Kai in his own image. It's kind of strange to think, like, imagine if Kai had never met Greg. What would they be like now? Because they seemed to be quite a basic bitch before, into, like, you know, basic things. And then Greg came along and literally ruined their life. I wonder if they regret ever meeting Greg. They still seem to think the sun shines out of his arse. even though you're in hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of debt to like the IRS and Washington State. You won't be able to get normal jobs. One look on the internet, you know, to see what you two have done. And exchanging nudes with a minor. Someone else came out, I put the screenshot up here, the tweet, saying that they also exchanged nudes with Kai. Sarah went on to Blair White's channel to do an interview and said that Kai sent them a picture of their vagina and a picture of them topless.
You guys have this concept of grooming, right? But that requires you have with somebody right after they turn 18.
We had already had romantic conversations and talks when I was 15.
Said that something has happened with her, or I cuddled in bed with her, that none of that has ever happened. Never.
Like, go to sleep. Good night.
He would send me like pictures of like him without the top on. Basically, Kai was taking selfies and he sent me a few of the selfies, and one of them, he didn't have any bottoms on, but he had a shirt on, and one of them, like his entire like private was in the picture. There was at least one picture that I had sent of me when I was 15, topless, to Kai.
Wow.
And that also Sarah sent Kai a picture back of them topless whilst they were underage. So, you know, it's hard to stick Greg down on all his abuse, but Kai, you've literally exchanged nudes with a minor. This is literally exchanging child porn. You're fucked if the authorities take this anywhere. And someone else came out and said that they also exchanged nudes with Kai when they were underage. So, marriage goals. Forget keeping up with the Joneses, it's keeping up with the nonces. I want to say that Sarah has been incredibly strong throughout this whole ordeal. I mean, they're 18. Her brain is probably still processing all of this that she's going through. And she's willing to take on therapy for herself. Like, she's so fucking responsible compared to the idiot twins, compared to Dumb and Dumber. No one should force Sarah to do anything she isn't comfortable with when it comes to talking about this kind of stuff. So, not only that though, all this drama happened. The Onision kept fairly quiet. He's done some weird videos, though. I'll just put up some little clips of these very strange, unlisted, Patreon only. I'm not subscribed to his Patreon, don't worry. People leak this stuff. Thank you. There's some very weird videos that I'd like you to see little clips of. I don't even want to react to them because watching them the first time round was bad enough. I'm just going to put in some little clips. I think it describes his mental state at the moment.
Anyway, you'll notice that your whole body is numb. Like when I do this. You like this? You like this better? I'm gonna kill you, bitch! I'm gonna kill you! Yeah, I'm gonna suck on these fucking nuts, bitch! I'm gonna kill you, bitch! I'm gonna fucking... Yeah! Yeah! You like that? You like that, huh?
Huh? Say hello to my...
He used the paralyzing drug? Oh no, you're gonna die. Nice and slow.
So Onision asked me to put peanut butter on my vagina. And I've heard he's done that to other dolls. He's asked other dolls to put peanut butter on their vagina, so...
Oh my god, internet, it's time for you to know the truth. I've lived with Onision for years, and he has neglected to feed me sometimes. When I say I want cookies, he doesn't give me cookies.
But the drama has finally come full circle because Sky, Onision's ex-wife, who has maintained a silence for almost 10 years throughout all of this, made a Twitter account and is speaking out against Onision. Some people have likened this to the Avengers Endgame, like this is the endgame for Onision. If the situation is so bad that his first wife is now tweeting about it. I'll read you some of the tweets. Was no contact for years, going about life in the real world. People in my life kept tabs on me on and off and was recently informed of the current situation. I'm absolutely disgusted. I don't want any more people harmed by this abusive predator. I said at the beginning of the video that Onision seemed to have like this thing for Sky's younger sister. I think when they were married, Sky's younger sister would have been around 15 or something. So he's just, always like them on the young side. I wonder, do you still fap to hentai of underage schoolgirls being assaulted by tentacles every morning for 3 hours so that you can concentrate on the rest of your day? Do you remember how you wanted me to stay at the house while you moved your new girlfriend in, because if I really cared, I would continue to support you? This was the 16-year-old that he cheated on his wife with, who he, travelled over a state line so he could fuck her where it was legal to do so because he was older. The Trinity, that's it, I remember. So he's always wanted this weird, Trinity. He's always wanted this harem. He did, little known fact about Onision is he did try and start a cult. Sicasia? Yeah, he tried to start a cult at one point, and it's very, very, it's just... What can you say to that? Speaking of which, my sister has been playing a long game of Spec Ops and never wanted your 1/12 of a ruler baby carrot. Greg has a micro-peen confirmed. Prop shouldn't have used the Church of Little Sisteroo for your confessions and miscast desires. She never wanted to work for you and kept tabs on you as you creeped on her for years. Quick question, why was he begging my sister on his birthday to come out to New Mexico for 3 weeks to hang out days before his current marriage? Screenshot of Onision. Do you feel like hanging out in New Mexico for 3 weeks after Thanksgiving? We could record a ton of content here. I could fly you down on the road trip back. We'll be back in town by the 18th. Can you text me so we can relaunch your channel? Wanting Sky's little sister to do videos with him. Do videos. He just wanted to fuck her. Days before his marriage to Kai. Kai, how does that make you feel that you weren't the first one he wanted to marry? He wanted to marry Shiloh, and then you were second best, but now it turns out you were third best behind his ex-wife's little sister. How can you still have this obsession with him? How could you want to be with him? You were third best, for fuck's sake. Have some self-respect. Sky's little sister, Netinessa, sorry, on the shadow, I can't pronounce words, tweeted, after ignoring him for so long, he vindictively started talking about my body in order to try and get my attention. I never showed him any modelling or photos or told him about them. He sought them out himself. Creep. So, hey Alicia, how have you been? We've not talked in a long time. 2017 that was. So he's been with Kai for 7 years now? 2017! He was still fucking out. And he did this video where he talked about areolas being oddly shaped or whatever. He's so creepy. Remember that time you said you were afraid that your cousin was going to rape you solely because he was gay and how uncomfortable he made you feel due to his sexual orientation? But hey, now you're gay because it's cool. Such an ally. Wait. Are you telling me that your spouse sent pictures of their Arby's #1 to a minor while you spent years grooming the same child under your care? Not a cool guy at Arby's. Sarah said, I knew that as soon as Greg pulled that public shaming shit on B that I should keep the receipts in case he ever came for me. I'm not stupid, dude. Netanessa tweeted, at Onision, if you don't understand why I'm upset, there's truly something missing from your brain. How dare you constantly make demeaning comments on women's bodies and young girls' bodies? I like to think some people can change their ways, but you've been a creep for a long time. So when all this shit was kicking off recently, a few days ago, Onision messaged Alicia, Sky's sister, saying, just wanted you to know, if I ever upset you, I'm sorry. I thought we were all good, but as we were about to work for each other a while back, but I guess you're upset with me, and for that I'm sorry. Hope you have an awesome life, Alicia. You've been such a cool person in my mind for so long. I ain't mad. I still think you're as cool as the person I spent part of my younger life playing video games with and listening to Dark Punk with. If anything, at the very minimum, these emails show that Onision just can't let anyone fucking go. He's so obsessive. He still thinks about some girl he had a crush on in high school, called Julia, I think. He still talks about that shit. Bro, it happened, 15 years ago? You're 32 now. Grow up. What is wrong with you? Go to jail. Do not pass go. What the fuck? Ew, oh my god, he messaged my sister today reminiscing about the past when she was a teenager. He is a delusional creep. The sister tweeted, when I was 15 and got intoxicated during my rebel teens, he sat next to me after my friend left and tried to kiss me. I turned away horrified and ran back across the room back towards my friend. Onision has said in videos how he had a better connection with Sky's sister, and if he could go back and change things, he would have pursued her instead of Sky. But Sky's sister was 15 when they knew each other. He also reframed this story at one point as, one time, this teenager tried to kiss me, but I pushed them away. So those texts that he sent Sarah calling her a rapist and whatever, a criminal, whatever fucking else he said about her, you have to bear in mind that he twists anything to his advantage. You threatened suicide if I didn't stop the remaining alimony to your large then audience. Remember how you made a video saying you lied about being suicidal because you were being manipulative whilst gloating about it? If he truly believed he held any ground against me with these ridiculous claims, he would have showed up to court that day during our divorce and presented evidence of his claims, never appeared like the coward he is. Onision, like he does to any girl that leaves his life, bullied Sky for years and years and never let it drop. Sky helped him launch his channel. She was the one that was like the creative force behind a lot of his earlier content. I think she even had some part in the... No, she did. She did help out with the I'm a Banana video. And when they divorced because he cheated on her, she wanted alimony. He was making there was a time in his life where he was making a fucking lot of money with YouTube, but he's so stupid. He can't invest properly, he can't save properly, he just spends, buys like several Teslas because he's an idiot. Didn't do his taxes right, and now he's in so much debt and he's barely making any money. Get a job. Where was I going with that? Just running. His bullshit contract was thrown out because it was signed under duress and wasn't even a legal document. He thinks me being professional and neutral back them equals getting back together. I finalised the divorce for a reason. He used abusive harassment tactics, saying to Sky, the only way I'll be free of this debt I have control over is killing myself. I can't take this torture anymore. Said that he was a slave because alimony equals slave, obviously. He sends people be human emails. You are a human being, as am I. Be human, treat me right. Where was the humanity when you unrelentlessly bullied Eugenia Cooney for having an eating disorder? Where was the humanity when you called Shane Dawson a paedophile numerous times? Where was the humanity when you harassed Billy and Ayala for nothing? For nothing. Harassing children. Why should anyone show the same respect to you, Greg, when you've consistently been a shit human being? So since all of this has happened, Onision is remaining strangely quiet, but he's feverishly uploading all of his videos to his Encore channel because it looks like he's worried that YouTube are finally going to kick him off. YouTube have facilitated this behaviour. I'm not for censorship, of course not, but when someone is abusing other people and grooming children and using their YouTube fame to try to sleep with teenagers, I think something really does need to be done about this. Honestly, Greg, just fuck off back to your swamp and stay there. That's all for this video. It was a bit of a long one, it was a bit of a big one. If there's any more updates, then I will, you know, compile a video, a list of receipts, and do a video on it. I love being horrible about Greg as much as the next person. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. This video is most likely definitely going to get demonetized. So please do like, comment, subscribe, share it with people. Let's get it out there how much of a piece of shit this guy really is. Though, you know, I think everyone knows by now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.